So let's go ahead and implement that refactor. What we'll do is we will take the request.body and we will say const user equals rec.body.user. And then we will send that user into our voting.recordVote method. Now, if we look, as soon as we start typing, at the moment we're only accepting one parameter. And now that we're sending in two, we need to go ahead and change our model as well. So we're going to say user here, and then we're going to update this architecture a little bit. Instead of having individual numbers here, we're going to put arrays there. And those arrays are going to contain the names of the users that have voted for them. And so we can actually, we can keep this as it is, but we no longer need to have this check here because an empty array evaluates to true in JavaScript. So we can say if the pizza exists in the voting array, we can go ahead and check. We can say, okay, cool, this is great. And then we can say voting pizza name dot push the user. But if we want to make sure that the user only exists once in this array, there's a number of ways to do that. We could instead use a set, which only stores unique values in JavaScript, or we can just check to see if the user already exists in the array. So let's try that. If voting pizza name dot includes user, and let's just say if the voting dot pizza name array does not include the user, then we will push them into the array. And this should work nicely, but the problem is now if we were to send back this result, it's just an array of users who have voted for each type. Instead, we actually want to tally those votes up, and so let's go ahead and do that here. Let's say const voting results equals, and let's make this as easy as possible, pepperoni, and let's just do this, cheese 0, and Hawaiian 0, and then let's replace all these zeros with the length of the array. So we can say voting.pepperoni.length, like this. And so we can do that for each of these pizza types. Voting.Hawaiian.length and voting.cheese.length, and then we can return those voting results. And so this is why it's usually useful to have a single method responsible for tallying up the votes. Then we can just call that method here. So hopefully, if we did this correctly, it should work as we expect it to. So let's go ahead and stop the server, start it again, head back to our HTTP client, and let's cast a vote here. Okay, that seems to work. But now let's cast a vote again. And hopefully, Hawaiian stays the same because we have already voted for it. Now, if we were to change that user's name to somebody else, and we vote again, then it should increment. Now, this is useful, but what if we were to send no username here? What if we were to send no pizza type? At the moment, we're just handling that as if everything is A-OK, but in a production grade application, we'd want to inform the client that that's actually an invalid request. You can't vote for a pizza more than once if you're a particular user. And if the the client tries to vote for something that doesn't exist, we also want to inform them that that's not a valid request. So that's what we're going to handle next with some proper error handling.